What's up guys, this is Sean and today we are in Bandar, Bukit Raja, Klang. Basically, Klang is divided into two parts, northern and southern. Northern, which is the Eco-World, SP Setia side, right? So it can be accessed via NKVE, and Kesas actually connects to Klang South, which is Bukit Tinggi, Bandar Botanic and things like that. TMW considered at the northern side, so it's just right next to Setia Alam, and you can actually get whatever you want here in Klang. We are now in 4,333 acres of Bandar Bukit Raja Klang. Okay, so it's a huge land, right? And you can see the main distinction that I realized is this new highway, WCE highway, that's going to connect Taiping and Banting, right? And then this is Jalan Meru. Then there's some light industrial areas, which is very different from other townships. Okay, so it's divided into three: BBR1, BBR2, and BBR3. This future highway has actually two intersections that's going to be into this development, which is awesome. Now we're going to visit the lake here, which they say every weekend, every morning it's going to be packed, and we're going to visit some of the newly completed units right there. So let's go. Then it's evident that you look at the master plan now, the evolution of market, meaning when they start off is of course always landed property, so single story, two story, and then suddenly more advanced two story, a bigger, higher, newer two story, right? So that actually is the market here, and the main buyers are still Klang because the second generation wants to stay closer to their parents. And what's interesting is the industrial lot to me, like the industrial part of it, right, actually gives a lot of employment opportunities, which actually can sustain all the houses here, meaning like if I buy and want to let out, right, there's actually demands for it. So interesting. So now we are at one of the lakes, and two lakes are not connected in terms of jogging path, but they are actually with water retention structures, meaning is to prevent flooding. Every time rain, right, these lakes are actually to contain rainwater, but what the developer did is to actually dress it up and make it into a place where actually people can enjoy in terms of jogging lah. They're not supposed to fish here, but actually people fishing here lah. It's actually very vibrant during the morning and evening. So I can see why, like, because in this kind of situation, right, you get a lot of greens, proper broom finish runways, right? The main thing has always been security in terms of Klang, because that's the main concern for a lot of people who don't understand Klang. I don't know whether it's intentional or not, but it's to actually have no hidden corners, no dark corners, right? Because everything is actually just clear. Landscape wise is very curated in terms of selection of trees, where you don't get a lot of hidden corners or bushes and things like that. Meaning I can see one glance away what's going to happen and what's going to happen that side. So I think it's awesome. The team finally decided to show me IRA, and it's because of this stuff. It's still under construction, how I like it. And I don't have my PPE right now. PPE meaning personal protection equipment, because it's actually designated as a safe zone already. So I got follow rules, okay? I got follow rules. And we are in a corner lot, always people's choice. Like a lot of people actually do enjoy corner lots. What I like about this corner lot, right, TMW has always been treating their corner lots differently, where you can see the opening at the second floor and you can see the ground floor also. There's a lot of glass. Further at the facade, the good thing is that gate actually extends from side to side, and for intermediates, actually you can see there's no columns in the center. This is actually achieved by having a lightweight. Coming into the unit, guys, so you have this foyer, right, and you check out the unit. It's straight away connected all to the end. Okay, so let's go through the spec. This is a 275 because it's a corner lot. If it's intermediate, right, it's actually 2075. Because it's a corner lot, right, so you can see that they really planned out all the window spaces. And the unit is so bright, it's like 12 o'clock right now, so the sun is actually straight. But then you see, without any lightings at all, it's super bright. And what I really like is actually the structural design. If you look at the beams, okay, so this column and beam, right, is so tidy. And it's always set right at a place where it's very easily you can do a plaster ceiling. And that's the kitchen space already. Between the dining and the dry kitchen, right? That's the ground floor room, which is because they always promote multi-generational to stay in the same house. So again, this is for their elders. And just like their Almina project, right? This is the sliding door. Smooth sliding door. And of course with the ramp. So for Iran, the ramp is only from the ground floor room, but from the kitchen they didn't do a ramp. I think maybe space a bit constricted but as usual there's no shower screen and it's just huge, right? It's so big. And check the specs. Let's check. Johnson Swiss, and you notice that I like the colors of the tiles. Full tiles up, water heater point, shower, right? And what I like is actually the huge mirror. Very big like this mirror. And coming up from the kitchen, this is your backspace, right? So if you're wondering where you put your washing machine, this is your washing machine spot. Okay. And I like this. I like the extra platform that actually built out. Which it's not difficult to do. It actually gives you that circulation space from this to this. So like this doesn't cost much in terms of construction and materials wise, but it's actually very useful. See these windows, right? This caught my attention. This window I think is cleverly placed where you can put the top of your basin, right? And then you have your cabinets on top. So this actually just fits just nice in between. If you want, you can also extend here to put your wall shelf, then inside can be your storeroom. Okay? This is a 4-feet staircase and timber, steel handrail, and I like it they actually connect it like that. So instead of coming out from the staircase straight away, right? So this is actually very space efficient. Okay, coming up, timber floor, very nice timber skirting. They have actually found that magic formula where everything works already. So everything is like 90% similar in between different townships, but it's a good thing because everything is just very well played. You have your emergency buttons and all the plug points are like that. Solid feel. Okay, master bedroom. You can see that the amount of glass, just nice. And timber floor, nice height, 3 meters height, right? Then, this is where their selling point is. Okay, look beyond the construction site. That's the 100 acres piece of garden. Okay, going out. This is where you place your aircon. Okay, so all aircon points will be provided, and this is the master bathroom. Main thing you will see is this huge mirror. Oh my god, it's so huge, right? And let's check out the brand. Johnson Swiss. No shower screen. Coming up from the master bedroom, there's 2 bedrooms, and both of them have their own ensuite toilets. Okay, let's check this one out first. Again, corner lot, that's why you have the luxury of having all these windows. Okay, toilet, same brand, mirrors. Oh, they're very generous in mirrors. This one. That's my take also. Like sometimes, right, mirror doesn't cost a lot of money, right? But you give extra, right? It actually makes the washroom looks way bigger. Okay, one thing to notice is also this cool door stopper. If you notice, right? Ooh, it's so solid, see? Wow! So I like this design as well, meaning they protrude out the family hall upstairs, right? So it's on a cantilever structure, but then it actually forms this cover for the dining room downstairs. Because always you have a lot of glass, the problem is the sun actually hits in, and so it brings the heat. Okay guys, so I think that's all for this round. It's now time for Sean Take 3 on 3. Three things I really like. Number one, it's of course the SIMW brand and their approach to design. It's always about this thoughtfulness of design, right? From the ramp to the ground floor room to the door size, right, to actually accommodate wheelchairs, and the kitchen window that is just in between the countertop and your top cabinet. They have a small concrete platforms that connects you from the back kitchen to your side dining area, as well as the size of the mirrors. Things doesn't really cost a lot, but they actually brings a lot of value to the end users. Then number two is actually the product type, which is very practical. So they go with the approach of individual title, right, 22, 75, 24, 75 or 20, 75. But there's a bare minimum that they can go because functionality is still their top priority. Then instead of going for the very hot gated and guarded approach, right, they actually design everything. So upon CCC of the development, the JMB will actually surrender the location for the guard house for the developer to actually erect the platform. How many people want to pay 400 ringgit a month, right, for actually a clubhouse that you barely use? What they really need is just the security and the sense of security. So in terms of lifestyle wise, they provide public park in huge scale because they're land big, man. First of all will actually be the potential of this site, because the WCE new highway, and then their proximity to all big townships. You look at ICT lah, Setia Alam lah, we are very foreign to terms of 500,000 you can own a property, a landed decent double-story property in Klang Valley lah. But just that this one is in Klang. But then if you look at it, right, if you drive in from the external Klang Road into Bandar Bukit Raja, you can immediately feel the difference in terms of treatment. So like I mentioned before, in townships, right, how do the township differentiate themselves is always using the infrastructure or the roads and the fringe of the roads, how they dress up using landscapes. Three things I don't like. Number one is just that the impression of Klang, because Klang is always associated with negative terms. That's also the reason why a lot of the neighboring developments, right, they very clearly carve themselves out away from, although it's the same Jalan Meru, right, but they are still classified as Shah Alam, not Klang. Point number two is actually the facade treatment. Like, you really can give credits to the team, right, to always to try new materials. Like in Almina, they try the more natural bricks and concrete blocks, right, that is actually easier to maintain in comparison to this one, a purple steel plate. And it rusts and things like that. Last of all, it's actually a distance away from KL. A lot may argue that, oh, it's actually connected via Kesasa, connected via NKVE, Federal Highway, all can actually connect you to KL. Correct. But on the office peak hours, it's almost impossible to actually reach KLCC by 9 o'clock. I think that's all for this episode. So in conclusion, what I really like is that the difference, because a lot of times, like, you can see in KL, right, it's all office blocks, high towers, but this one, right, is really just nice and mellow, flat all across, right? So because they have not reached that sophistication where you have a lot of office towers, so I don't think so just yet. Then they also provided affordable housing, the Rumah Selangorkus and things like that. As usual, I really enjoy and I really appreciate their transparency to let me visit sites like this, right? As this actually displays their confidence in their products and their work ethics and things like that lah. So if you really like this video, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. This is Sean Tan. Ciao.